Now, Kiwis are a step closer to a guaranteed right to repair the products they own, with a consumer guarantees right to repair amendment bill passing its first reading in Parliament last month. We spoke about that on the show. It's part of a global movement aimed at giving customers more power over the products they buy. If successful, the legislation would compel manufacturers to ensure repair facilities and spare parts for their products are made available in New Zealand. And while this could also mean less going to the landfills, the Master Electricians has issued a warning to the Green Party, who is championing the bill. CEO Alex Vranyac-Wheeler has raised significant safety concerns regarding this bill and cautions that allowing untrained individuals to repair electrical appliances could lead to dangerous situations. And she joins me now. Alex, good afternoon.
Hey, Leah, how are you?
I am good. Hey, look, thanks for chatting this afternoon. And I know I've kind of touched on it in the intro, but what is the Master Electrician's biggest concerns about the right to repair bill?
Look, this bill, if successful, will allow consumers the ability to fix all goods. Now, what does that mean? It means that currently fixing electrical goods is considered prescribed electrical work. So you need someone who is competent to do that work, namely an electrician.
Right.
The difficulty with this bill... The difficulty with this bill is that if it goes ahead, manufacturers may well have to supply information to consumers on how to fix the goods. If they do that, the safety regulations, that whole need to use prescribed electrical, prescribed electricians to do the work goes out the window. So you're actually giving consumers, if you're providing them with information to fix a good on how to fix it, they don't need to use an electrician to do that work. And you can imagine the safety implications of that.
So, Alex, I know that you've mentioned certain appliances. Let's take, something that most houses have, a microwave, which has high voltage components. So can you give an example of what could go wrong if an untrained person tries to fix the good old microwave?
Yep, so microwaves, classic, they've got huge capacitors in them. They can hold charge and they can discharge that charge incredibly quickly. We're not talking a little zap, we're talking hundreds of volts, and they don't even have to be plugged in to do that. That could result in death.
Ooh.
That's what we're talking about.
Right. Supporters of the bill, though, Alex, would say, do we not have a right to fix our own things? Do you think there's a middle ground between that and ensuring safety? 100%.
Look, we support the intent of the bill. We're absolutely pro the sustainability, the circular economy practices. We're 100% behind it. I think as it stands currently, it's too broad. It covers goods in general. It hasn't specified what sectors, what products, what parts at this stage would be covered. Overseas jurisdictions have brought this in, but they brought it in much more measured. They're specific about washing machines, TVs, and smartphones as a starter. So they're being cautious in terms of the rollout. We've gone full hog. It's too broad, and at the moment, there's just too many unanswered questions.
It's gone through the first reading. I don't know, Alex, you might have looked into it though. By the time it pops out, if it makes it through, is there not consultation with this? Will it not change by the time it gets to the third reading? Or do you think this is it?
I am concerned, Leah, because we found out about this just by accident. We hadn't been consulted on it. We weren't even aware that it had, that consultation had opened. So we're working at speed to actually liaise with the suppliers, the manufacturers in the electrical world on these products so that we can actually get a really good sense of that. And we're trying to provide that at speed, really, but we haven't had sufficient time. I understand that we have made Marama aware of some of those electrical safety concerns that we've got, but I don't know if they've been taken seriously enough.
Would Master Electricians support a version of the bill that allows for repairs but only with strict safety guidelines? Is this kind of what I'm hearing?
yes, and I think we would need further information. I mean, I think, for example, let's take someone wants to fix an electrical product and they don't use the part specified, they use another part. Who would be liable if that botched repair went up in flames? Who would be liable for that? How specific is the bill going to be around, you know, parts that are being used in repairs? How long do those parts have to be held on to by suppliers and wholesalers? Are we talking, you know, 5 years, 10 years? So the intent is really to reduce costs, but on the other hand, we see costs increasing because when you're housing more parts for longer periods of time, it's bigger warehousing. You know, there's all those additional factors that come into effect. So just not enough detail and enough thought of thinking gone through, I think, particularly when it comes to electrical appliances.
I mean, I can understand that. You know, I personally would never tinker with the microwave if it didn't work. And if the bill had even passed and allowed me to, I would not. But I'm sure there are many people that would have a go because, you know, they can see it as being cheaper for them to do it. So I can understand that there's a potential for people to possibly, you know, hurt themselves. Like you said, who's liable if someone is hurt or burns something down or, So if the bill passes as it is though, Alex, what impact do you think that would have on, let's say, electricians in the wider industry? I mean, some could say, Alex, that this is you protecting, you know, your patch.
I think that if there's an opportunity to use an electrician to fix the appliance, then we should be, right? Because they're trained, competent people who are dealing with electricity every day versus a consumer who really doesn't understand that. So I think the safety message isn't us protecting our patch, it's actually protecting consumers. And I think the challenge will be the fact that there aren't enough electricians currently in New Zealand servicing the demand we've currently got. So we've just added, if this bill goes through, we've added a whole lot more pressure on that system. If we mandate that, you know, electrical goods need to, you know, be fixed by an electrician or a repair person who's qualified and competent, we're still going to have a shortage. So, I think the safety measure for me here is front and centre, particularly for consumers.